Hi, and welcome to Pet Pals. Every week we showcase animals that are available for adoption at the Frederick County Division of Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center. I'm Linda Shea. With me this morning is Randy Cooper. And the first little puppy we're going to take a look at is not quite a puppy. This is Cindy. Cindy is about 7 to 8 years old. She was turned in by her owner. Her owner had gotten her from a family member, had only had her for about a month. And due to the owner's new job and not having enough time for Cindy, chose to relinquish her here. So she's been with us for just about a week now. She's a terrier mix, and Randy and I were talking as we're getting ready for the show as to what type of mix. It looks like there's some Jack Russell in there. There might be some Schnauzer recessive, but nonetheless, she is adorable. She's about 15.5 pounds, so she's on the smaller side. She does have some minor health issues. She's got a low-grade heart murmur. She's got an umbilical small hernia that we're going to go ahead and take care of prior to her being adopted. But other than that, we've brought her up to speed on vaccines, on flea and tick prevention. With dogs, we do 2 different products for deworming, so we want to make sure that we can keep them as healthy as possible and prevent any spread of disease transmission through the shelter. Cindy came to us already spayed. Prior to leaving here, she will be microchipped, and we will go ahead and register that for her new family. She's been around older children, 7 to 11 years old. She has been the only dog pretty much for her entire life. So if you have an existing dog, you may want to consider bringing that dog in to do what we call a meet and greet to see if Cindy would be a good friend for your existing pet. At 7 to 8 years old, she does qualify for an adoption incentive because she's a little bit older, so that would be $20 off of her adoption fee. So her adoption fee would be $72.50, which covers a lot. So again, this is Cindy, our little terrier mix, and she is looking for a forever home. This handsome guy is Cedric, and if he looks familiar, it's because he was on Pet Pals showcased last week, but sometimes it's our prerogative. If we have a favorite animal in the shelter, we give them a little extra attention. So that's what we're doing for Cedric this morning. He is a gorgeous Chow Chow Malamute mix. He's about 5 years old. He had one owner for his whole entire life until recently. Cedric was in a situation where the landlord of the property owned chickens. And a lot of times with dogs, especially predatory dogs, the chickens are just way too much of a temptation. So to avoid any issues, Cedric was brought to the shelter and turned in for adoption. So he is about 69 pounds. Again, he is a Chow Chow Malamute mix. He came into us a little shaved down, so he's been with us since August 11th, so about a month now. Fur is growing back nicely. He is very social. We're recommending him to go to older children, adult home only. And if you ever visit our shelter, go ahead and ask the question why. Sometimes, we designate those things for different reasons. However, if you have children, depending on your experience, those stipulations can be discussed. So certainly the reason we've got him designated older children, adult home only, he's a little rambunctious, he's big. If you're not used to the breeds, the mix between the Chow Chow and the Malamute, Chow Chows typically are very serious dogs. A lot of them, if they're not well socialized, have a low tolerance for young children. And Cedric, with that fluffiness to the coat and tail, would be certainly of interest to a small child. So you'd have to just employ good parental oversight for both the dog and the children. But again, that's the main reason we've got him designated as older children, is the breed mix, his size, and just his overall disposition. But with adults, you can see he's very calm demeanor. He likes his tummy rubbed. He certainly acts like a puppy on a lot of accounts. He does have a behavior assessment. We behavior assess all of our dogs, so he did pass that. And some of the notes, he tends to be more environment-centered than people-centered. So while he's enjoying being pet at the moment, he is looking around the room. You can tell, trying to see what's going on outside, what might be behind the next door. So he's a dog that would need definite supervision just to keep him safe. But if you're interested in Cedric, if you like running a vacuum and a brush, he would be a good choice for adoption. This fit might be also a familiar face to you. This is Achilles. Achilles has been at the shelter since July 18th, and in the interim, at some point, he went to what we call puppy camp at Peaceable Paws in Washington County for a week of one-on-one training. And at that point, he learned some manners, which he's not really exhibiting well now, but he's all excited because he's on TV. But he does know how to sit. He does know how to walk nicely on a leash. He interacts fairly well with other dogs. So I think sometimes dogs like this stay here for such a long time because they're just bypassed in lieu of smaller dogs or perceived as cuter breeds. But Achilles, we have him down as he came in, turned in by an owner originally. We have him down as a pit bull mix, but a lot of times when we've interacted with animals, especially he's been here since July, we kind of gain insight to their behavior. So, more than simply being a pit bull mix, I would say there's some American bulldog, possibly some yellow lab. He's a mixture of a lot of different breeds, not just pit bull. So certainly if you are interested in a dog like this, he weighs about 80 pounds, and what he really truly needs is somebody who's going to be dedicated as far as offering him continued training through his whole entire life, in this sense of having him work for his meals, having him sit before you put down dinner, taking him on long walks. That's one of the mistakes that a lot of pet owners, especially dog owners of big dogs, make, is that you can't just turn them loose in a fenced area and call that exercise. They need some mental gymnastics to go with that. So they need to be trained how to walk nicely, to sit, to heel. And there's all sorts of things that you can do with a dog like this to just work out all that bundle of energy that he has. But he has a great personality, a great temperament. He just does need a family that's going to be able to offer him some time. In the interim, while we're waiting for someone to adopt him, if you've ever considered foster care for dogs and you're interested in a dog like this, contact us. A lot of times we have difficulty placing big dogs into foster care because a dog like Achilles does need some extra time, extra effort, and he needs somebody who's going to be consistent in training. So again, this is Achilles. He's been with us since July. He's about 5 years old. Please do come in if you're interested in either adopting, fostering, or if you're a part of a legitimate rescue and would want to rescue him. That is available also. We just took a look at Achilles, who's about 5 years old, and this would be a 7-month-old version possibly of what Achilles would have been like when he was a puppy. This is Nyla. She's a German Shepherd. She is gorgeous. She's about 56 pounds already. She's already spayed, up to date on vaccines. And as you can tell, she is definitely interested in knowing what's going on. German Shepherds in general are very smart. They're very loyal to their family. They're very inquisitive. They learn quickly, and sometimes the shame of it all is that folks get dogs like this that are very intelligent, very smart, and just don't know what to do with all that energy. So with Nyla, we would definitely recommend, a good long walk a couple of times a day. You want to make sure that you have time. A lot of times with dog success, it's not about having financial resources necessarily, but it is about fitting them into your day. Everybody that wants dogs seems to enjoy this breed, but you have to invest your time over a lifetime commitment of the dog. It's constant training, and it is constant redirecting that enthusiasm for life. It's not going to be her fault if she tears up a pair of shoes that you've left on the floor. So you need to kind of manage some behaviors. And her energy level is extremely high. So if you are a runner, if you like to play sports, if you're interested in having a canine companion for your long walks around Baker Park, Color Lake, or any other part of the county, Nyla would be a great choice. Now, she does need some work as far as walking nicely on a leash, and that can be achieved a lot of times by positive reinforcement through treats. A harness would be a good first step to eliminate that pressure on her neck as she pulls on the leash, and then as she gets comfortable with the whole walking process, you would just treat her, and a lot of times praise also is going to work for her. So she's a good girl though, so if you've got a lot of energy, she certainly can keep up with you. This little girl is Bella. She is an Angora bunny. She's about 4 years old, and she originated from the shelter a couple of years ago, and now due to her adopter's health, the adopter can no longer take care of Bella, so she's back with us at the shelter. She is gorgeous, and again about 4 years old. She's already been spayed, and sort of what we have set up for her is a small sampling of what we offer bunnies here in their cage and what you should be offering bunnies at home. She's got some straw, she's got a litter box, and she also has things to chew on. So she's got a pine cone in there, part of an egg carton. Bunnies require a whole different world of diet and exercise, and they are prey animals, so it's your responsibility if you have other pets in the family that you make sure that a bunny is kept safe. Now they do need out of their housing unit exercise time. So as you can see what we've done here for Bella, she's got a dog exercise pen and she's on carpeting, so it gives her a little different texture to walk on. They also need to be socialized, so you need to make sure if you have a bunny that you're interacting with it on a daily basis, that you're picking it up. With a bunny like Bella, you're going to need to know how to employ a brush because she is an Angora. She's got that longer fur and it can get matted or knotted if it's not maintained. Bunnies do a little bit of grooming, but not to the extent that cats do, so you need to be brushing Bella, I would say at least once every other day, if not every day. We have wonderful information available if you're interested in adopting a bunny from the House Rabbit Society, what to feed them, how to house them, how to keep them safe, any health issues, and we also have wonderful volunteers that assist us with our bunny adoptions. We have folks that are much more fluent in bunny rabbits than we are that can help you with that. So if you're interested in a bunny, even if it's not Bella, if you're thinking of future needs or future pet inclusion into your family, you want to make sure that you contact us for information. But again, this is Bella, our little 4-year-old Angora that is looking for a home. So we're going to go ahead and take a short break. When we come back, we will have more animals that are looking for forever homes.
Keep track of what's going on in the County Executive's office by visiting frederickcountymd.gov/Gardner. Here you'll find the office's latest news, Jan Gardner's weekly public schedule, meeting information, and much more.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Seniors stay active and engaged in the community while making new friends by participating in events at Frederick County Senior Centers. Each of the 4 centers provide a variety of educational, health, fitness, and recreational activities, as well as resources to help area seniors maintain their wellness and independence. Nutritious congregate meals are offered daily for contributions of up to $5, and limited transportation services are provided for seniors 60 and older. Advanced registration is required for both of these services. Contact your local senior center for specific information about the programs and services offered in your area.
Did you know that all of Frederick County's mixed recyclables go to a materials recovery facility to be sorted? For this to happen, your recyclables need to be placed into a cart or bin loose, not in bags. Trash bags are not recyclable, and materials in bags are difficult to open at the sorting center and are not accepted. The only exception to this rule are recyclable plastic bags, like grocery store bags, which do need to be gathered together inside one bag so that they don't get caught in the sorting facility's machinery. Also, shredded paper should be placed inside a paper bag or cardboard box so that it can be collected and sorted properly. Thank you for helping to make recycling work better for our community. And remember, please don't bag your mixed recyclables. More information on our recycling program can be found online, in our mobile app, or by calling our office. Recycle more, waste less.
Welcome back to Pet Pals. Now we're going to take a look at 5 of our cats and kittens that are looking for forever homes from the Frederick County Division of Animal Control. First little girl we're going to take a look at is Chanel. Chanel's been with us since July 8th, so she's been here for quite a while. She's about 3 years old. You can tell she's a gorgeous, very classic domestic short hair with a black and white bicolor coat. She came to us, I guess a person had been babysitting, and that's how they acquired Chanel. They were just kind of pet sitting temporarily, and then that original owner never came back for her. So Chanel is here now. Chanel came from a home where there were other cats, small children, looks like there were dogs as well. So she has that experience. Sometimes people ask us, there's a couple of common questions that come up, and I just mentioned she's been here since July 8th. Folks will ask, how long do you keep animals? Well, there really is no cut and dry time. As long as we have space, as long as an animal is temperamentally sound, behaviorally sound, relatively healthy, even if cats, and a lot of times cats come in, if they're not previously vaccinated, they will develop an upper respiratory infection. So we go ahead and treat that. But there's really no time limit. So a cat like Chanel, we're hoping she's not here too much longer, but that's another reason why sometimes on Pet Pals and other avenues we will showcase animals more than once, just to remind people that these animals are still here, they're still looking for homes, and we still consider them great pets. But again, this is Chanel. She is still here and still looking for an adoptive family. This little girl is Georgia. She is another product of foster care, and oftentimes through the summer months you'll hear us talk about foster care kittens, because there's plenty of them that come in starting in April, when we consider that to be the beginning of kitten season. All the way through September we will continue getting underage kittens, and if they come in and they're under 3 pounds, we will send them into foster care to give them the best possible start in life. So Georgia's been with us since July 30th. She went right into foster care, so she's been there until most recently, when she arrived back at the shelter just about 48 hours ago. She's a little over 3 pounds. We brought her up to speed on vaccines. We've maintained her deworming through the whole time she's been in foster care. She's certainly been well socialized, well loved, handled by younger children. And what her foster mom has written is that Curious Georgia is, as her name describes, she was always the first to step up to any adventure ahead of her brothers. She's very independent and prefers petting to holding. She loves attention and gets very excited about food, often running circles around the feet of the one that's bringing her the food. She's playful and warm and will make an incredible pet. She's been around other cats, dogs, and she is child friendly. So I can't get any better than that. That's the description from the foster care provider about Georgia. So if you're looking for a very child friendly, cat and dog friendly kitten, Georgia would be a great choice. This little girl is absolutely gorgeous, and she is a wonderful example of how hard we try to solicit animals to be as personable and as adoptable as they can become. So Winry came to us as a stray back at the end of August. She's about 5 months old at this point, and she came in as a stray. She was trapped on a property in Walkersville, and she's still somewhat shy, but she's come miles, believe it or not, from when she first arrived here. When she first came in, we offered her what we call a wild box, which is just a plastic little housing hideaway box that goes inside a cage. And cats a lot of times appreciate just the privacy that offers them. There's a barrier between them and the rest of the world, and then they can take their time and come out as they get acclimated at a slower pace than simply putting them in the cage by itself, which just has the front door on it. So we offer that to Winry, and over time, kennel staff here has worked with her on a daily basis, a couple of times or more times a day, socializing, trying to handle her, encouraging her to kind of come out of her shell. So as you can see now, she's still very, very shy, but we see a lot of potential. So what she would need at 5 months of age is someone to have patience. If you are cat experienced, if you are just someone that loves cats and that has a lot of patience to work with her, she will never ever be the kind of cat that you can chase after, and you certainly don't want to do that with any cat, but with a cat like Winry especially, that's just going to instill some fear and some skepticism as to what you're doing. But if you have a more quiet home, if you have a comfortable lap, and certainly if you have a kind heart, Winry would be an excellent choice to add to your family. This little girl is named Kennedy. She came to us previously owned. She's about 6 months old, and she's another example of just a classic look, the domestic short hair, black and white bicolor. Kennedy came to us because she did not do well with the young children in the family. And again, if you're talking about cats and kittens, they all have unique personalities, and some are very much more tolerant of children than others. So we recommend that Kennedy go to a family either without small children, or if you have cat experience and you've got good parenting skills, ultimately that's what it comes down to, and you're able to supervise interaction between the cat and your children, then Kennedy would be a good choice. We have brought her up to speed on vaccines, on preventatives. She's about almost 5 pounds, which makes her just around 6 months or so. And prior to leaving here, she will be spayed, she will be microchipped. As with all of our cats on the adoption floor, Kennedy is negative for feline leukemia and feline immunodeficiency virus. That's something that we test all of our cats prior to placing them on the adoption floor. So if you are looking for a kitten but not quite a young kitten, Kennedy would be a good addition to your family. The last little kitty we're going to take a look at is not quite so little. This is Bo. He's about 11.5 pounds, and he is absolutely gorgeous. He is about 4 years old, was originally adopted from the shelter a couple of years ago when he was about 2 years old, and then per our adoption contract, if an adopter cannot no longer keep an animal, they need to return him to the shelter. That gives us the opportunity to talk to the adopter to see what might have gone awry. If there's anything that we can help with keeping that pet in that family, we can certainly try that. And also just to discuss the adoption process and to see any kind of changes that we might need to consider. But Bo is with us again. He's a gorgeous domestic medium hair. We've brought him up to speed on all the vaccines that he needs. Redid the leukemia and FIV test, so he is negative for both of those viruses. Coming from our shelter, he was microchipped already, so that would just need to be re-registered to his new adopted family. And of course, he's already neutered. The one thing that happened to Bo in the last 2 years, his adopters front declawed him. So we do have folks that come in looking for cats that are previously front declawed, and Bo would be one of them. It is not a procedure that we advocate by any means. We certainly discourage that. It's a conversation, though, between an adopter and the veterinarian, and most veterinarians will offer options and alternatives prior to performing that type of surgery. So, but Bo is here now. Having been declawed, he does need to remain an indoor-only pet to keep him safe. And certainly he is only 4, so he's got a long life to go to make somebody an extremely happy pet owner. So again, this is Bo. He is our front declawed domestic medium hair, available for adoption. And that wraps it up for this week's Pet Pals. We are so glad you could join us. If you've seen any animals here today that you're interested in adopting, you want to make sure that you stop by the shelter. You can also call us or check us out online. Thanks for joining us on Pet Pals. We'll see you next week.